Hello and welcome to my presentation. Today I'll be sharing a medium-term plan I designed for Year 1, focusing on locational knowledge through a thematic learning journey, Captain Compass's adventure around the world. This presentation is structured around three key elements: the intent of the unit, the implementation, including three critical decisions, and finally, how I evaluated the impact of pupils' learning. As Kathleen passionately supports, geography matters because it helps children see the powerful connections between people, environments, and events. It builds their critical thinking and nurtures a deep sense of global citizenship, something the world needs more than ever. Ofsted further reminds us that in the primary years, geography begins to shape children's understanding of their place in the world through simple yet profound tools like maps, globes, and conversations about distant places. By teaching geography, we spark curiosity, we strengthen spatial reasoning, and we open children's eyes to the wonders and challenges of the world they are growing up in. Geography doesn't just describe the world, it empowers young people to engage with it. A good geography lesson needs several key elements to be truly effective. One of these is a strong focus on prior knowledge, as highlighted by the DFE, who emphasize that what pupils already know plays an important role in how they learn and build new understanding. Another essential element is fostering inquiry. Roberts describes how meaningful geography happens when pupils are encouraged to ask questions, think critically, and develop understanding through investigation, not just by receiving facts. And finally, as Ofsted points out, high-quality geography lessons are purposeful and inclusive, offering activities that allow all pupils to engage deeply with the key concepts and processes. At the heart of this unit is the aim to ensure that pupils begin to build an early geographical understanding of the world, with a particular focus on locational knowledge and spatial awareness. Following the national curriculum, pupils will learn to identify and name continents and oceans, develop locational knowledge, use positional and directional language, engage in early fieldwork and inquiry skills, name and compare key physical and human features. In order to achieve the aims outlined in this unit, it is essential to recognize that geographical learning is built on different types of knowledge. The national curriculum emphasizes that geography is not just about memorizing facts. It requires structured knowledge that develops over time. Therefore, in geography, we teach three interlocking types of knowledge. Substantive knowledge refers to the core facts, things like continents, oceans, and climates. Procedural knowledge, on the other hand, involves the skills necessary to apply this factual knowledge, skills such as reading maps, using compasses, and conducting geographical inquiries. Finally, disciplinary knowledge is about thinking like a geographer, critically evaluating sources, and constantly asking questions like why and so what. When all three types of knowledge come together, pupils don't just know geography, they do geography and think geographically, and that is ultimately our goal. The first critical decision I made was using narrative and inquiry to promote disciplinary thinking. In Key Stage 1, pupils respond particularly well to stories and imaginative contexts. As Roberts highlights, meaningful contexts and an inquiry-based learning foster deeper engagement and understanding. This is supported by Vygotsky's theory of social learning, which emphasizes the role of dialogue and active participation in cognitive development. By framing the learning around Captain Compass's journey, geographical concepts and locations are introduced within a meaningful story rather than isolated facts. This approach makes knowledge more memorable and relevant as pupils see places as connected parts of a journey. The narrative also naturally encourages inquiry, prompting pupils to ask questions like where is the Captain Compass going next, or what might he discover there. This not only promotes curiosity but also supports the development of critical, disciplinary thinking from an early age. The second critical decision was to sequence content carefully to support memory and understanding, drawing on Rosenshine's principles of instruction. I first identified the core knowledge pupils needed to retain and introduced it gradually across 6 lessons. Each session began with a quick retrieval task, Captain Compass quiz time, to revisit and reinforce prior learning. Following Rosenshine's advice to present new material in small steps and revisit material regularly, I spaced out new content and consistently linked it back to the overarching narrative. This approach helped pupils build knowledge incrementally, reduced cognitive overload, and supported the development of both substantive knowledge and disciplinary thinking. The third critical decision was to use a multimodal and inclusive approach to build spatial awareness. Spatial thinking is a core part of geographical understanding, but it doesn't develop automatically. As Catling and Wiley note, children's spatial awareness is not fixed. It evolves as they engage with maps and develop an understanding of how space is represented, measured, and navigated. In this unit, pupils interact with a range of spatial representations such as world maps, globes, floor maps, and digital tools to help them visualize and locate continents and oceans. Activities are deliberately varied to support different learners, songs and movement to help kinesthetic learners, map puzzles to support visual reasoning, and verbal prompts to guide spatial language. By presenting geography in different modes, I aim to make abstract ideas more accessible while promoting inclusive, meaningful engagement with space and place. Young children often hold simplified views of distant places, for example, seeing Africa as just hot and Antarctica as just snow and flat. To challenge this, I plan to use videos, stories, virtual tours, and discussions to deepen pupils' understanding, encouraging them to reflect and question their assumptions. Activities comparing continent sizes and using globes alongside flat maps also helps pupils grasp scale and map distortions. By making diversity, scale, and spatial variation visible and meaningful, I aim to support a more accurate and complex understanding of the world. This unit makes strong cross-curricular links to enrich pupils' understanding of geography. Art, pupils create world maps and explorer certificates, building visual spatial skills. Science, exploring climates and habitats connects geography to living systems. English, strengthening geographical vocabulary and narrative skills through labeling and writing. Music, songs about continents and oceans reinforce key facts through rhythm. PSHE, discussions like which continent would you visit and why promote empathy and global awareness. Inclusion in geography means responding to the diverse needs and learning styles of all pupils. As Gopal and Charterhouse emphasize, it's about tailoring support to each child's learning journey. In the Captain Compass unit, we use strategies like simplified color-coded maps, pre-labeled worksheets, sentence starters and keyword banks, think, pair, share activities, targeted one-to-one or small group support, multimodal activities like songs, puzzles, videos. These scaffolds align with Catling's emphasis on inclusion in geography lessons. The assessment planning for this unit aligns with key educational principles. According to Roberts, assessments should be diagnostic and formative, which is reflected in my approach through observations, questioning, quick quizzes, and map work to guide next steps in teaching. Catling and Wiley emphasize the importance of assessing how students interpret maps, which is incorporated through practical tasks like map labeling and identifying physical features. Additionally, Ofsted highlights that assessment should focus on the application of geographical knowledge, not just recall, which is evident in tasks like comparing continents and climates. Overall, the assessment strategy is designed to inform learning and help students apply their geographical knowledge in meaningful ways. Thanks for listening.